State lawmakers continue to introduce hundreds of bills into the legislature. Two bills would allow adoption agencies to deny services to people based on religious beliefs. That first bill says adoption agencies would not be required to provide services to a couple if it would conflict with the agency's, quote, sincerely held religious beliefs. That bill would also prevent state and local governments from taking adverse action against the agency. A second bill would allow similar restrictions based on religious beliefs, but this bill would prevent a couple from suing the adoption agency for refusing to provide services. Now, one of the biggest concerns with these bills is the restrictions it could place on LGBTQ couples for adopting. Some wonder if the Supreme Court would even allow legislation like this, but experts say the courts could favor these bills.
The reason it will probably pass muster is that the court has shown a great deal of willingness to protect religious freedom in the recent past, even perhaps to the exclusion of equality. And so that's the essential conflict here, isn't it? Some people say this is our religious right. Other people say, no, you're impacting negatively my ability to be an equal citizen.
These bills are still in the early stages, and we will keep you updated as they progress. You can stay on top of all of the proposals moving through the state legislature at WBIR.com. Just head to the politics page and click on our producer Annie's Bill blog.
Still ahead on 10 News at 6.